Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I'm being joined by Jez Mohideen, CEO of Laser Digital. He's an industry veteran with 28 years of experience across the buy side and sell side. We're going to talk about a topic today that I'm quite passionate about, which is on-chain asset management. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, talk on the topic.
Yeah, I would love to start off by talking a little bit about the fact that so far when digital asset managers manage digital assets, they actually don't necessarily use the toolbox available on-chain and by the blockchain. So if we can touch up on that to start with would be great.
Sure, I mean, including us, most of the first iteration of asset management has been just follow the same traditional path.
Yeah.
All the way from reporting to NAV and all the kind of the transparency it provides, but add digital assets as a product. So we've also launched similar pattern to start with, because the regulation is much simpler, understood, and most of our regulation today is around the traditional asset management world as opposed to kind of on-chain.
Yeah.
So therefore it's easier to launch via that to get the adoption going. As the adoption comes through, we're coming to the interesting topic of on-chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if we talk about on-chain asset management, what are the kind of key things we look out for? Let's start talking about vaults and what are vaults and how they're being used.
Yeah, today, I mean, creating a vault, basically you have to have a curator. It's almost creating a segregated strategy which lives on chain. That's what kind of a typical vault does. And then curator manages the risk side of it. Risk management, no different to a portfolio manager manages risk.
Yeah.
You could have number of strategies within a vault. It could be segregated, similar to what you find in SPC, segregated, asset management vaults. So typically these vaults provides transparency to the end user as well as the investor, and as well then of course it's programmable by nature. So you can encode the risk management, risk limits. You have clarity around the NAV, real-time NAV computation, which is because of the fact that it lives in on-chain world. You can do all the compute on-chain. And then of course the other advantage is multiple strategies you have. You can see how these strategies are kind of real-time performance as well.
Yeah.
The other benefits, of course, is a lot of the, I would say, kind of auditability and reporting.
Yeah.
Because there are all these reporting structures you have from fund administrators that actually simplify significantly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's really two components to it. There's the transparency side of things that is extremely high, but there's also the cost side of things.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. The cost side of it's because all the way from I would say kind of when you subscribe into a fund and the redemption side and all the legalities, NAV, operational side of it actually friction cost significantly reduces, because of course quite a lot of it is automated, because of the fact that also you're using some of the smart contract means a lot of the I would say rules are encoded in there, all the way from risk to compliance, some of the operational, the fee management, everything is encoded there, as opposed to you have humans interacting and have to do all these kind of. So naturally the cost comes lower, and then of course relative to the traditional fees when it comes to custodian, many other things also actually the friction cost reduces.
Yeah.
And then the liquidity as well. Yeah.
And let's talk about a little bit about the particular case for Laser Digital. You're regulated in ADGM, and you are in the process of rolling out the on-chain management toolbox to your local asset management entity.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that for a moment, please.
Yeah, for us, I mean, the real the benefit it provides is, the whole idea we all here is to access the real on-chain world and then the benefits of decentralized finance, right? Because what does it provide? It provides both, kind of not just the transparency, but also brings composable, good quality assets into on-chain world, which actually enhances the entire development of the, I would say, the decentralized the world as well. So when we thought about originally our vision was, with Web3 blockchain, using the infrastructure, benefit the infrastructure to go to on-chain world, but that cannot happen stage one, as we spoke about. It takes years to get to that point where the regulators are comfortable, the investors are comfortable, that you're not exposing their assets to kind of unknown, both the territories as well as unknown actors.
Yeah.
So therefore, the toolkits are now coming through, and the regulators are also gradually getting comfortable, and investors are also demanding because the benefits are on chain, both also enhancing yield, of course, number of strategies which exist, which allows you to enhance yield as well in the on-chain world. So for us, we thought let's construct the traditional world now. Then the next stage, what we did was we took existing some of our product in the traditional asset management, like we created our own carry fund called Laser Carry Fund, including recently we launched a Bitcoin Plus yield product. Then we kind of natively, these products also we tokenized it.
Okay.
Once you tokenize, then the next stage is to bring it to the on-chain world, because that's so we are following the steps as well. And then of course having the conversation with the regulators as well, getting their comfort that on-chain world, how it can operate in a permission way, the stage one, before you go to the permissionless world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because that really accelerates the interoperability, right? So that's been something that has been talked about so much in tokenization.
That's right.
And now it's finally happening that that tokenized, for example, Bitcoin fund then can be used by the investors to actually borrow against it.
Agree. So yeah, of course, once you go into the natively on-chain world, the collateral becomes your liquidity points. Both, obviously, you can use the collateral to loop and extract more yield. Similarly, also you can use the collateral to actually get financing to kind of deploy in other multi-strategies as well.
Yeah.
That's the benefit it brings. Once you go to on-chain world, it opens up all the venues, potential venues. You can access liquidity as long as the collateral is qualified. You open to a new world, particularly all the new digitally native world.
Yeah. And another point, stepping away a little bit now from the on-chain asset management, is really around Laser Digital here in ADGM, right? I understand that there's some big growth plans. Would love to hear a little bit about it. Yeah,
for us from the beginning when we started our journey in this digital asset from the group perspective, we always felt that we need to be around a tier 1 regulator. A tier 1 regulator both takes from traditional world and then kind of extrapolates into the digital world, which is why I made a lot of the tier 1 regulators, right? So it was no question when we started this on journey, and particularly obviously UAE as a whole supporting this ecosystem significantly, to be out in ADGM, because it allows also for us to do not just the digitally native crypto asset which exists, but also traditional asset as they get tokenized, then kind of roll out the asset management product. And ADGM being a big advocate of asset management universe, for us it was no question we had to be here and develop the product with the regulators.
Yeah, okay. That's terrific. And just to round up maybe for 2026 in terms of outlook for on-chain management, asset management and regulation related to on-chain asset management, how do you think we're going to see that develop, and what role do you think ADGM will take in that?
Yeah, for me, ADGM being center which is trying to attract significant capital as well as be the universe of, I would say, digital asset management, seeing also the ecosystem players coming through, no question, opening up all the way from the steps we talked about now, going all the way from giving digital asset license, both for asset managers as well as broker dealers, then of course taking the first step towards other than what exists in stablecoin universe. And then these are the ones which has already reached escape velocity. Now we're coming to the on-chain asset management world. Taking all these assets on-chain is the next step, and for sure, ADGM is looking into, the regulators here are looking into it, and they see the real unlock coming from that. So, taking some of the kind of digital native products, taking it to on-chain world, while coming up with regular clarity around the regulation, what type of licensing people need to hold. If you're a curator, curator becomes almost very similar to asset manager. So rather than it's a fintech type of play, because today some kind of areas there's a little bit of vagueness. But who are the curators? Current curator, do they have the right license? So providing the right framework always significantly enhances basically the ecosystem development. That's always been the case here, which has worked. So I think giving clarity who can be curators, who can be the on-chain asset manager, what are the requirements needed, and safeguard the assets, in terms of security, coming from smart contract or custody, as well as when you go into the on-chain world, exposing to the DeFi centric world, how do you protect the assets as well? Clarity around that, already some of it exists, and then giving regulation who can be either kind of the, I would say, starting the pilot participants to test these some of these tools will actually speed up the evolution here.
Yeah, that's terrific. Look, thank you so much for joining us today. Jez,
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure to speak.
Thanks very much for your time, and it's been my pleasure as well being
Thank
up
you.
here.